I yield myself 5 minutes for questions, but I'll begin by yielding to Representative Waltz.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just wanted to continue on that last line of questioning before I was interrupted. And I'll state again, we want equal opportunity for every single American, equal opportunity for every single American to serve. The concern of this committee is that we have political pressure to tip the scales from a meritocracy in any way, shape, or form based on some other ethnic or race factor. And that's what we want to be sure isn't happening. So I'll ask you, each of you, we've talked about the whole candidate scores. Is there any instance to where you have allowed the selection, the accession of a lower scoring candidate, either in your superintendent nomination category or your additional appointee candidates, over someone with a higher whole candidate score based on meeting your diversity goals?
No, sir, not at the United States Naval Academy.
No, sir. We look at multiple considerations.
But you do look at race as part of that whole candidate?
Sir, as we talked about considerations across the admissions process, which also includes scholars,
right,
leaders, athletes, the respective, and that's the goals for talent that we are striving for. And
is
then
race part of that whole candidate?
Race is not part of the whole candidate score, sir.
Okay, thank you. And General Clark,
that'd be no, sir, for me as well.
so you've never elevated someone that may have a lower whole candidate score because of their ethnic background?
I have not.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I yield.
I reclaim my time. Let me first ask a simple question to each of you. If the language that passed, that a majority of the House of Representatives voted for last week to apply the same standards of the Supreme Court decision on the military academies as on the rest of colleges and universities, how much of a difference would it make at West Point?
Chairman Banks, with the Department of the Army and OSD, we're still assessing the Supreme Court ruling.
But would it make a big decision? Would it make a big difference if you had to apply those same rules?
Sir, we're assessing it. We'll have to come back to you once the assessment's complete.
As you assess it, I mean, I think you owe it to the committee to tell us how much. What do you think the difference would be?
I owe it to you to present facts, sir. I'll wait till the assessment's complete.
Admiral Buck.
I believe the diversity that we enjoy at the United States Naval Academy is because of the huge effort that we make and that you all participate with us in creating an applicant pool from the country. And I believe the further and the more effort that we do in our outreach to teach everybody in this country what the U.S. Naval Academy is and what that opportunity might be, I think it kind of naturally drives a diverse brigade of midshipmen. In the last 20 years, the female population at the Naval Academy has doubled. The racial diversity at the Naval Academy over the last 10 to 15 years has increased. I believe that's a tribute to how hard we're working to create an applicant pool for you all to consider to nominate.
Yeah, I think that hits on a really important question. If Congress nominates candidates to the academies, why do we have to take race into consideration at all if that's the process that we use?
It's one aspect of diversity that we've talked about, but it's one of many, many different aspects of diversity, and all aspects of diversity, I think, are powerful and helpful to make a cohesive team.
General Clark, I mean, how much of a difference do you think it would make if the Supreme Court decision did apply to the Air Force Academy? Do you think it would make a big difference at all?
Well, sir, I know, again, as General Gillen mentioned, we're assessing that right now and what kind of a difference that would make.
What do you think? I mean, you're the leader there. Do you think it would make a big difference or not?
I'm not as familiar with every meaning of we're not included in the scope of this decision and exactly what that means, so I don't want to get out in front of that until we're able to really analyze this.
General Gillen, at West Point, is there a difference between preference and quotas? And do you apply one or the other and how you apply race as a factor?
Sir, we don't have quotas at the United States Military Academy.
Preference?
No, we have goals to meet, as I stated, with regards to leader goals So categories of young men and women, regardless of their backgrounds, are leader, fall into a leadership category, a scholar category, an athlete category.
My time has expired. I yield to Ranking Member Kim.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you again for the three of you to come out here. I wanted to just read you two sentences here. This was a brief that 30